It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel.
What's up, y'all? It's me, Rhonda.
What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda, and I'm back to talk about. What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Sunday. You know, on Sundays we come over here to talk about Love and Marriage Detroit. We at season 2, episode 6. I'm gonna call this episode the Aunties because everybody showed up with their auntie. I guess because they can't get along with each other, so that I'm just gonna bring my auntie over here, have a random conversation with her. First auntie over here, Auntie Kimberly Dobine in the restaurant throwing things on the floor like a fool, like a whole ass hood baby. When Christina called her a hood baby, I was done. I was done. I was like, hood baby, check, put that in my little repertoire. I might have to pull that one out, Christina. Look, this fight argument between these two reminded me of Sheree and Marlo over there in Africa. You're trash. No, you're trash. You're ignorant. No, you're ignorant. You're foolish. No, you're foolish. I'm gonna go ahead and say though, Christina ate that ass up. She did. Kimberly, I don't know what you came over there, but Christina again had your ass, what they call it, crashing out. She had you crashing out, and I'm not sure why she has such an effect on you. She was sitting up there looking very bothered, and me and Christina over here don't know why. You brought the lady's clothes on the floor in the restaurant that you purchased because she said you paid for it. Basically, girl, if you want to throw it on the floor, throw it on the floor. You own them. You bought them, and you admitted yourself that you did it to support the lady. I wonder if because Kimberly said they have a lot of friends in common. I wonder if her real problem is that some of the friends gravitate towards Christina, and that bothers her. And you can tell a lot about Dobine, Kimberly Dobine, by her projection. I feel like she's like, you're in competition with me. I don't think so. I don't think Christina's in competition with anybody. She over here trying to handle a situation with her husband. I feel like she's very distracted by what's going on in her home life. And she got 2 little children. So it seems like you, as much as your friend Anthony be saying you popping, I don't really think you popping like that. Not like how you, I don't know what's popping. If the lady is over here curating things and being successful at it, then I guess that means she's popping, but she's also ignorant, throwing things around them people's restaurant. That's not Black excellence over there, PB and J and B Enterprises, whatever the name of your company is. Christina was like, you was over here disrespecting me. You was trying to belittle me. And then Kimberly, all she had to say was, girl, please. Girl, please. Foolish, girl, please. You're foolish. It was all pretty foolish. But I mean, at the end of the day, and then her little reads, I think she thought she was eating with the Steve Urkel Family Matters reference. No, it wasn't. You was over here crashing out, looking a damn fool. Your ponytail, I Dream of Jeannie. Y'all love y'all I Dream of Jeannie ponytail, don't you? I'm gonna say this: if I had to choose a ponytail, it would probably be a Marlo Thomas That Girl ponytail, but only like for an occasion. Like I can't be walking around here, my big old age, with a I Dream of Jeannie ponytail and baby hairs and fur coats and things. Auntie Kimberly. This lady had the nerve to go back to being, a mediocre Android phone person. And I'm like, I just will not ever understand why that if you pay your phone bill, Kimberly Dobine, and all the calls that you need to go get things curated and such are coming through, you should not worry about what somebody thinks of your phone. I think it's just a little silly to be that bothered by it. And if you're that bothered by it, Kimberly Dobine, get yourself an iPhone so you won't be mediocre like the rest of the girls. I guess all the girls in the group got an iPhone and now you're feeling some type of way. I don't understand, child. This is what she's mad at. And she says she ain't really trying to be friends with this lady. I just want us to be able to get along. We have the same friend group. And I'm like, well, it seems like you're the only one popping off. So go tell that to your mirror, Kimberly Delbine, about how you want to just agree to disagree. Everybody just get along. Christina's like, yeah, well, I mean, that's fine with me, child. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my drink and you have a nice day. I guess I'll see you around. Now that's how somebody gets dismissed. Kimberly Delbine, I believe you were dismissed. Pick up your things that you threw on the floor, acting like a hood baby. I can't get enough of that, child. I'm just telling you, hood baby has me sent. Christina's in the studio. Her brother is her manager. That feels like a safe space when you're talking about somebody that's gonna manage you. You're talking about somebody that really has your best interest in heart. For the most part, unless your brother is like, some sneaky slimy snake, but that doesn't seem to be the relationship between the two of them. It feels like a safe space. You don't have haters out here trying to step in front of your situation. She says she's feeling rusty and she's sounding rusty. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. She needs Brandon to come hold her hand. And I'm like so confused by that because she said when she was out here trying to pursue her hopes and dreams, Brandon said he was not trying to be with no artist. But now that Brandon is sleeping over his mama's house, I feel like he's reassessed the situation and thinks that maybe it's in his best interest. Honestly, it is in his best interest. After seeing how they interacted with each other in the studio, I'm like, Brandon, what the hell is wrong with you? Silly ass self. But he didn't show up this time. And so her and her brother are sitting having a conversation about, how they were raised and what they see marriage as, and, Brandon's situation was different. So they're gonna have to figure out what it is. And then they got married 6 months after, they met each other. So I feel like maybe if Brandon and Christina, who know each other now, can start from scratch and maybe, in a different place, maybe they got a chance, child. I don't think it's fair to compare her marriage to her parents' marriage. Everybody's marriage is different. So I don't know what kind of pressure that puts her under, even, and her brother gave sound advice. Like he wasn't bashing Brandon. He was basically saying when you start living separate, that's the beginning to the end. So I would like for y'all to figure it out because once you get comfortable living separate from one another, then it just becomes, the next step is divorce. And I agree with that. So y'all can't be playing like daddy came by and now he got to go backstage with his mother's house. They need to put some energy for real into deciding whether they're gonna move forward. I feel like they want to. And Brandon needs to figure out if he can handle the fruits of the labor that this lady Christina is asking him to bring to the table. And she needs to definitely be clear about which fruits of the labor she's talking about because me and Brandon don't know what the hell that means. I don't know what's some fruits of some labor. Just be direct. Tell me what you're talking about. This is going to sound insensitive, but I still feel like Anthony's full of shit. So Anthony brings his aunt over here to meet up with him at this diner. And apparently they've dealt with a lot of deaths just within the last 5 years. And that's, that's difficult for any family. I'm not going to say that, I'm not gonna pretend like that's not serious stuff. But however, Anthony's full of shit. He brought this lady over here so he could toot his own horn, tell us all about how his dad was a pillar of the community that built these community programs, and that may be true. But you want, act like, this is your legacy to like build the manhood of Detroit on your back. What, the torch was handed to Anthony. And that's the whole point of this conversation with his aunt. I guess, keep having your Million Man March meetings. And every year it'll grow and grow and grow, I suppose, if you put any energy into it, Anthony, and stop being out here messy. I really don't have anything to say about his aunt. She seemed like a nice lady. She showed up in her popping red lipstick and she was looking lovely and she entertained this conversation. As somebody who was probably close to her, I guess that's her brother, of course, she's going to take an opportunity to speak about positive things that her brother did for the community. So, yeah, I'm here for that. Anyway. Now Brandon showed up and brought Christina into, over to the, what you call it? The Star Factory, at the Star Factory. Brandon, I think it's time to relocate the Star Factory. And I'm gonna leave it right there. Anyway, they had another one of these lovely entrances, the kinds I like, the love and hip hop kinds, the kinds where you like walk in slow motion to the vineyard. And here they go looking cute, like they want to hang out with each other. I feel like this is the first time I've seen them, giving this energy where they like hanging out with each other. And Brandon seemed to have some sense of pride in, his partner. I was feeling it. And I don't know if it was just the camera angle, whatever that had me all excited about it, but the energy between them was definitely better than I've ever seen it the whole time I've been watching this. Because up until now, he'd be whining and complaining about how much he don't really like her. But I think he feels like he likes her today. They go in the booth, she needs him to hold her hand and go in there and be all sexy and like coach her through the whole thing. And I feel like he was in his element and he enjoyed that whole moment. And when he went in the studio with her, she definitely sounded better than she did the first time when he wasn't there. And I think it's just that she respects his critiques. You know what I'm saying? Like she feels like she's at her best when he's coaching, and she probably is. Now she's working on this song that's supposed to be presented for the Detroit Pistons. And it sounds a lot of like Chloe's song, which is a very sexy song. And I think, I don't know, at her age, it's probably difficult to get started on the sexy song vibe, girl, because they out here doing a lot more than they used to be doing. Just saying. But I do feel like if her family comes from the gospel music sector, she can probably like become have a successful situation over there, because she's older maybe than a pop star, but not too old to be a gospel singer. And if that's been her foundation, I don't think it's a bad idea if that's what she's gonna pursue. She probably, have a better shot at it, I feel like, than being out here trying to be Chloe, working it on the dance floor. I think, the things that she was saying, and honestly, it was true. Like she was actually better after Brandon came in there. So I felt like he was needed, which is probably something he ain't really been feeling like over his household, which has led to him, I don't know, being out here looking a fool, dragging around laundry in his hand. She said Brandon is her superpower. And I said, okay, girl. That's her man, her man, her man. I'm not gonna comment on that shit. She told him Anthony asked her about going on a podcast with him. And I don't know why Anthony didn't bring that up in front of the both of them in the first place. Like this is the type of shit he does. And so Brandon, of course, like, I know he didn't think he was going over there without me. And she was like, oh, that's what I told him. And he should be interviewing both of them on the podcast, Anthony. It doesn't make sense for her to go over there without Brandon. But I heard y'all wasn't living in the same house together no more. I was also thinking maybe you could come over and do my podcast. No, nigga, not without my husband. And she was like, look here. And now like Chelsea is gonna be what is Chelsea's new title, child? Marketing manager or whatever she's supposed to be doing. Brady said that's a good idea because Chelsea be out here doing her thing. So he supports that. And she's like, she should probably come to the podcast. And I'm like, Christina, why? We know there's no reason for her to be at the podcast. Not over there at that one. Just go with Brandon. Brandon said that's like bringing fire to a fireworks store. It is, and it's unnecessary. Ain't nobody watching this man's podcast anyway. Anthony. And nobody watching Anthony's podcast. He got persons, he got podcasts, he got photo shoots, he got Million Man marches. Whew. He just be popping. But the people said, Anthony, not me, because I don't know, but the people said in Detroit, you really ain't popping like that. And I'm not going to mention any names. That's what they said. Because LaToya don't mention names. Like when LaToya be telling what the streets be saying, she don't mention any names, and I'm not either. But they said you wasn't popping. And I'm feeling like your girlfriend Kimberly, her popping streetness is Is that a thing? Her street poppiness. Yeah, her street poppiness might not be as much as you said it was. Besides the fact that she's known for the lady that comes around your business and throws things around the floor. After it was all said and done, and they had this whole moment of electricity and chemistry that we've never seen before, Christina decided that it's time for Brandon to come home. I'm gonna say she probably followed her brother's advice and like, quit playing, girl. If you ain't really trying to be done, you better let the man come home and, let him feel like a man in his own house. So Colby's aunt comes to visit because I told you this is an episode about talking to the aunts. Colby's sitting there with that face that she's been making since she's got pregnant. If they get another season, I'm so glad she will be done with, pregnancy, because as pretty as she still is, her energy is horrible. She was telling her aunt how ungrateful and disappointed she was that she was having a girl because she wanted to have another boy and be done. And I was like, you could be done. I don't, you could be done and you could try again and have another girl. So, better figure out what you want to do, because you already said you don't want to comb 2 hairs. Then you're gonna have to comb 3 hairs. Maybe Russell don't have no boys up in the chamber. You're gonna keep out shooting out girls, and you'll be stuck combing all the hairs. So if you want to be done, be done. Her aunt shares with her that, she was unable to conceive and that they went through IVF and, none of her situations worked out. She lost twins and, it was a big deal, her trying to figure out how she was going to maneuver, in life, wanting to be a mother and not being able to. And she found a place like in the youth community programs. So, and that's, I feel like, a lot of what the fulfillment is just being able to nurture, even if it's not somebody that you gave birth to. So that was cool. She told Colby her baby was purposed. And I was like, I like that. I like that you put it that way. Because I personally feel, I didn't express it that way, but I'm like, I understand where you're like, oh man, I wanted to have a boy. But at the end of the day, you just start bonding with the baby that you have, boy, girl, whatever, the baby's purposed. And I thought that was a really pretty way to say that. Hopefully she gets it. I mean, I think Colby's kind of selfish, and at the end of the day, she's still mad that this man Russell is going to try to pump her up with another baby in 6 months of delivering the one she's carrying. But we don't have to bring the aunt into all of that. Russell had time today. He had time to sit there in that chair and be a part of a conversation that he really didn't have to be a part of because, he had nothing to contribute. Million Man March. Man's Movement. Man's Movement 2.0. Anthony is having another Man's Movement. It's over at the high school. I don't remember the name of the high school, but Anthony was in there directing the kids how to sit in bleachers because, God forbid, the kids know how to sit in bleachers. I feel like that's something they didn't have to know how to do. And there was no crowd. There was plenty of bleacher space. All he had to say was, everybody move down now for camera can see y'all, because if y'all spread out, people are going to be able to tell that there's nobody here. Why is there nobody here? Because Anthony don't be telling people. Even Bravo didn't know. How did Bravo not know about the 2.0 Man Movement meeting celebration annual? Because Anthony's a hater, that's why. And I feel like now that Bravo and his wife have a spot on the show, he feeling some type of way, because Bravo is over here with businesses and things, like actual ones. And I don't doubt that Anthony works. I'm guessing he does work, but you ain't popping in the streets. Like, that's a difference. There's a difference. Just because you have a job somewhat within your field, I guess. I don't know what your field is, but you hating on Bravo, because people said over there in the D, everybody know Bravo. And you wanted him to speak at the Man Movement meeting 2.0, but you didn't tell him. And he feeling away. And I feel like he's going to say it eventually. Bravo coming on up out of his shell. And the people like Bravo and Lakita. Everybody over here that's watching Love and Marriage Detroit like them. They're like, where Brandon? Brandon did not show up until shit was over. Now, remember, Anthony, last time you was having a man movement meeting, you had invited Brandon to come after the meeting is over. So this time, Brandon just was like, I'm gonna come after the meeting is over. This is how you did me the last time. Now you want me to do something? You talking about I could have spoke. Really? About what? Especially when I didn't even know we was having no man movement meeting 2.0. I just don't understand this relationship, friendship, not friendship. These two are not friends. I don't think Anthony's anybody's friend, except maybe Dr. LaToya and Kimberly. Brandon comes in there on some bullshit talking about, yeah, I didn't make the meeting, but you know what I do think? I think you should apologize to Chelsea. I'm not going on no apology tour. I'm not apologizing to that bird. You're so mature. Why would you say immature? You're so immature, Anthony. Calling a lady. Now you calling a lady out her name. She's a girl. She's a bird. What did she do to you, really? What just has you like that? Now you're bringing up how, whatever happened over at the jewelry store. Well, that wasn't on Chelsea because your wife went down to the reunion and lied on Chelsea. That's what that was about. Her problem was you called her names and you were disrespectful to her. And her wife followed up with talking shit about her. So, she had the right to ask Dr. LaToya, what is you talking about? Y'all act like Dr. LaToya is untouchable. I can't be here. I don't do this. Girl, you start the shit. You and your messy man. He said it ain't gonna happen. I don't think it's necessary, Brandon. These two don't have no reason to talk to each other. Don't bring it to the podcast. And then Bravo tried to intervene. Like, I didn't even feel like it was necessarily taking anybody's side. He was just like, y'all be acting weird, and then we be sitting there, and then everybody's like involved. Him and Russell just always be sitting there at the table like, what the hell is going on? And Lakita don't be in the middle of the mix, but Kobe done heard the tea on the other side, Russell. And she probably told you, you just choose to come there and pretend like you don't know what's going on, which is very smart. That's how you stay out of the mess. Anthony is saying that somehow he doesn't know. I don't know why Bravo always needs to take up for Brandon. They got some type of weird friendship going on. I don't know what's going on between the two of them. And I was like, what? They've been friends this whole time. Jealous ass. You're mad because Bravo, and this is the thing, because Brandon was out here about to lose his wife. And I feel like him hanging out with Bravo maybe was a good thing. Bravo maybe told him to support his wife and what she wants to do and they be a team together. And it's only going to work in the best for their marriage. And Bravo be out late, but he's probably showing him you could go over here and do your work and then take your ass home. I don't know, but Anthony's very bothered by the relationship between Brandon and Bravo. And I'm thinking, you're a weirdo, Anthony. So Brandon goes home. He's got a pile of clothes in his hands. I thought it was more dirty laundry than not. He got clean clothes there. He walked in the house and threw on the floor. Why didn't you leave him in the car? What did you come into the house with clothes to throw on the floor? The girls are happy to see him, of course. And then, they sit around. Them are like Brandon's little miniature princesses. They look just like him. I mean, I guess we're going to see next week, like how him and Christina begin to go on the mend. I like to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't a good feeling watching them do whatever they were doing before. This right here feels much better in terms of, the chemistry between the two of them. Next week, the girls are going to let their dad know, like, their feelings about, what the family just went through. And then I guess LaToya's sons don't want to talk to her. I don't know what that's about. Maybe because they're teenagers and that's how teenagers are at that age. Like, I don't feel like it's any type of thing besides the fact that they're like 14 and 14-year-olds don't talk to grown people. That's just how that tends to be. Bravo confronts the Dolbines. He been waiting to do that. He's like, you came to my spot, and see, that's what it is. Bravo doesn't see it that Christina came to his spot and blew it up. He said Dolbines did that because that's what they did. Christina and Brandon were just sitting there trying to eat their dinner. And another thing, I do like Christina and Lakita as friends also. I wish Colby would, refresh, and figure out where she wants to be in the midst of all this. Anyway, we'll be back next Sunday to talk about Love Marriage Detroit. Bye, y'all.